Evaluating price controls. Markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity. Economists usually oppose price ceilings and price floors. Prices are not the outcome of some haphazardous process, but prices have the crucial job of balancing supply and demand. In other words, coordinating economic activity. Governments can sometimes improve market outcomes. Using price controls can be unfair. They're often aimed at helping the poor, but they hurt those they're trying to help. Economists feel there are better ways of helping those in need. Examples would be rent subsidies or wage subsidies, like something like a tax credit. The government uses taxes to raise revenue for public projects like roads, schools, and national defense. Taxes, however, pose an incidence. Who shares the burden of the tax? The government can make the seller or the buyer pay the tax. So in this example, we show what equilibrium is without a tax. Equilibrium is 500 pizzas at a price of $10. What would happen if there was a $1.50 tax that was put on buyers? What's going to happen is the price the buyers pay is now going to be $1.50 higher than the market price. The price would have to fall by $1.50 to make buyers willing to buy the same quantity as before. So if price falls from $10 to $8.50, buyers are still willing to purchase 500 pizzas. Absent of that, the quantity would fall. So the tax on buyers shifts the demand curve down by exactly the amount of the tax. There's a new equilibrium of 450 units. Sellers receive $9.50 and the buyers end up paying $11. So the $1.50 tax is actually split between both the buyers and the sellers. In our example, the buyers are going to end up paying $1 more, and the sellers are going to end up getting 50 cents less. So if this green line represents the amount of the tax of $1.50, you can see the new price here, PB being buyers, is $11, and the new price or the amount that the sellers will receive is $9.50. What happens if the sellers are taxed? The tax would raise the seller's cost by $1.50, and the sellers will supply 500 pizzas only if they can raise the price to $11.50 to compensate for this cost increase. Hence, a tax on sellers shifts the supply curve up by the amount of the tax. Their costs are going up. So what's the effect of a $1.50 tax put on the sellers? The effect is that the buyers pay $11 and the sellers receive $9.50. So again, the tax of $1.50 is split between both the buyers and the sellers. So the effects on price and quantity in the tax incidence are the same, whether the tax is imposed on the buyers or the sellers. A tax drives a wedge, again seen by this green line, between the price the buyers pay and the price the sellers receive. In this active learning, I would like you to suppose the government imposes a tax on buyers of $30. Find the new quantity, the price the buyers are going to pay, and the price the sellers are going to pay, and the incidence of the tax. This graph represents the elasticity in tax incidence. Supply is more elastic than demand. The buyers share the tax burden. It's easier for sellers than to buyers to leave the market. So buyers bear most of the burden of the tax.